Hi, I'm Bran, and I love When Calls the Heart.
Hi, I'm Jax, and I like When Calls the Heart.
I'm Dan, and I despise When Calls the Heart, and this is the Deck the Hallmark Podcast.
Deck the Hallmark, it's his podcast.
Brandon and friends host his podcast.
We hope you like this jolly podcast.
Ba 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 da ba ba da ba na na na. Hey, hi everybody. Happy day to you. It's
Happy day to you.
Happy day to you. I'm excited to be here today
happy
talking When Calls the
day.
Heart, season 12, episode 9. It's exciting.
Yeah?
We're in March now. Can you believe that?
March already.
It's March Madness over here.
March Madness, my
March
favorite time of the year.
I know you always get excited about the
You
brackets.
love a March Madness.
Yes.
Yeah.
Is there any team that you're like especially high on? I know we're not quite ready to start making our brackets or anything, but is there a team that you're kind of keeping your eyes on?
I'm keeping my eyes on Duke.
Yeah.
Duke. Yeah.
Yeah.
It's actually a good one to keep your eyes on.
Good choice.
There-
What about you guys?
Cooper Flag, he's
Yeah.
maybe the best player in the country.
Yeah,
So,
yeah.
Not,
Well,
not
they
a
have
bad
the
one.
new coach. They have the new coach now.
They do.
JJ's gone.
John Shire.
They got a nude coach.
No.
New. I'm so sorry.
Got it.
John Shire's been there a long time. Not a long time, but he's been there a few years now.
Yeah, but he's new compared to
a couple years. Compared to Coach K, yeah, he's been there a couple
new.
Yeah,
years.
Coach-
Respectfully.
Coach K was there forever.
Forever. That's
Forever.
exactly
That's right.
right.
Yep.
Big excitement. Just
What
like
about
When
you
Calls the
guys?
Heart.
Who you got
season
your eyes on? Who you got your eyes on?
Duke's
this
not a
year
bad
first?
answer. I don't want to give away mine. Because Brand's going to take it and use it, I think.
I would never do that.
All right, here's a free one. Here's a free early you want to keep your eye on. The St. John's Red Storm. St. John's
Red
Red
Storm.
Storm. They play their home games at Madison Square Garden in the big city.
Have you heard of that? Madison Square
They are
That's where Pentatonics play.
Yeah,
of
got
course.
it.
It's
Got
both
it.
and.
Got it.
They're coached by the best living basketball coach
Danny
at the
Doyle.
college level ever. He's a terrible.
Danny Doyle.
He's not an above board human being, but he is the best basketball coach to ever coach college basketball. His name's Rick Pitino.
Danny Doyle.
And they are scary good when they're healthy. So there's your fun little tip, everybody, if you're wanting to, make some fun wagers out there.
I'm going with the Big Boys team.
The Big Boys.
They are an under the radar squad. That you have to be a big boy to play there. And I know that sounds like it could be problematic. But it's not. It's
Most
all
things
above
you
board.
say sound like they could
They
be
could
problematic.
be
That's right.
problematic.
Yeah.
But it's not. We're talking When Calls to Heart, season 12,
It's a great
episode 9.
segue.
It's
Yeah.
called.
It's called Shootout Again.
Ooh, close. Jax?
It's called Rick Pitino Did Not Shake Hands. I was googling to see what kind of a terrible human being he was.
Oh, no.
And I was like, oh, not as bad as I thought.
Well, it's not as a coach.
I thought it was the bribes. It's not the bribes.
He did, but like the bribe thing, like everybody was paying players. Now it's legal.
Right.
He was caught regularly having extracurricular times in chain restaurant bathrooms with waitresses.
Consensual?
I believe so. Yes. Yes. Consensual. Not. I believe so. Consensual, from what we understand.
I don't listen.
I do believe he was married at the time.
Sure.
Okay. Well, that's maybe.
He's
and they weren't.
like an Italian mob boss.
Okay.
He like wears a pinky ring. He has custom fitted suits. He's 73 years old and stalks the sideline like he's like Pacino in The Godfather.
You no longer
He
have
just-
to wear suits as a coach, but he's still required.
Yes, everybody else wears like
Yeah.
sweats. He's in full like pinstripes. I mean, but like in the 70s and 80s, he would go out to Rucker Park and like coach at Rucker. Like he is the best basketball coach, college basketball coach ever. It's a joy to watch him coach. He just is like, you don't want to.
You don't want to go to Applebee's with him. You'll lose him. You'll lose him.
You'll
You're like,
lose
where-
him at the Olive Garden.
where
You'll
did he
lose him at
go?
the Olive Garden.
He's getting unlimited breadsticks.
Ricky P's been in the
Ricky P.
He's been gone for a while. Yeah.
Giving his unlimited breadsticks. Guys, come on.
That was good. They're riding the Roni
Ride the
brand. You're every.
Riding the
I love
roadie, baby. All you can eat.
All right. Okay.
Oh, I hate
we
it.
can't air this,
I
right?
loved it until I
Hey,
hated
come
it.
on.
We can't air this.
One Calls the Heart, season 12, episode 9. Ride that Roni right into. It's called Buried Treasure. That's what it's called.
It's tough.
Just what it is what it is.
That's tough. That was a tough after that.
And I went a little something. You buried it. Bill rides into town very serious, like you can tell, just by
It's
the
gonna be a serious
It's gonna be a
episode.
serious episode.
Yeah.
He tells Nathan that the Garrison gang is on the run. The Garrison gang's at it again. He's gonna go do a stakeout. Would love to have you. Angela and her parents are going to go to take her to see the school that she's interested in. Tensions are high. She forgot her scarf.
Oh no.
There's not enough time. The train waits for no one. Rosemary and Elizabeth overhear Ava's telegram, and Rosemary finds it very suspicious. She is now more convinced than ever that Ava is not who she says that she is. This boy who came to town in the last episode, I didn't really talk about him. I didn't really know how big of a deal he was, but he's walking in the woods, and Sonny Garrison comes out and joins them.
Sonny Garrison.
They're whistling together. They're having a good time, and he this boy. I didn't get his name. You get his name, Jax? You get this boy's name, Sonny's cousin?
I did not get this boy's
Okay,
name.
Sonny's cousin has a map with an X on it right by Lover's Tree. Gonna have to take a gander at that. Don't know where it is, though. Lucas goes to talk to Gowan to get some advice about the whole, cattle situation. He suggests that Lucas sign an executive order to take back the land so that he can build his park, save the salmon, save the world. Probably going to cost him his governorship, but what are you going to stand for? You know what I mean? Sonny and the boy, as I like to call them, can't find the trees, so he goes to ask Allie and Oliver because he notices that they are always talking about the woods. So they agree to help him. They go out into the woods together. Rosemary decides to try to get to the bottom of the whole Ava thing, so she breaks into her room and takes her trunk without her knowing. But Frickham, who wasn't aware of what was going on, brings the trunk back in and is like, hey, this was on the streets. And so Ava figures out that they are on to her, and so she finally comes clean. Here is Ava's backstory. Everybody, listen up.
Here we go.
Ava used to work for a mentalist con man who ran a con where she would faint in the crowd and then he would pickpocket
He's a
the
pickpocket.
person who is on the stage.
Pickpocket
But
the person.
one day, the person that was on the stage was a Pinkerton. So
Oh.
he pickpocketed a
He
Pinkerton
pickpocketed a Pinkerton person?
and blamed Ava. And
Oh,
so she
no.
fled because the Pinkertons were trying to find her, trying to track her down. And so she fled to Hope Valley because she read about it in Elizabeth's book. That part of it is true.
What a reveal.
I know. I of all the things I
Man.
could have guessed,
Floored.
I would have never guessed mentalist
Pickpocket
pickpocket
Pinkerton
Pinkerton.
person.
Allie and Oliver are helping the kid and Sonny. They don't know that that's Sonny. Sonny's not there yet. They just think they're helping the kid try to find this X marks the spot situation. But then Oliver lets it slip that he is a Mountie in training, which freaks him out. Sonny then comes out with a green shovel and is like, hey, you're going to help us find this. And they're like, no, we're not. So he grabs Allie, and she's like, hey, I'm Allie. And you can't do that. But she's like, okay, we'll help you. Because he's going to hold her hostage unless they help him. They get to the tree and they dig up a box, but the lock is actually unlocked and there's nothing inside. And Sonny and the boy, they're very confused as to what happened. By the time they're done talking about, how they're confused and who could have done that, word has gotten out that Allie and Oliver are missing. And so everybody goes into the woods to find the kids and see the things and do the stuff. Eventually, Elizabeth, did I get the words right? Did I mess it up?
I was
so
just
good.
delighted by that.
Thank you. Eventually, Elizabeth finds them, followed by Nathan. So, yay! The day is saved. Lucas tells Edie about the executive order, and she says that it's going to bring a war. but we can still be friends. So that's nice.
Cool.
Angela went to tour the school and comes back, and she's very nervous about it. She doesn't think that she should go, and her mom encourages her to just give it a shot. She uses a sledding metaphor. It's just like sled down once, shame on you, whatever it is. But it works, and she says she'll give it a shot.
I don't think it's shame on you.
Shame on me. Is it shame on me? Shame me once.
Can't sled the sledder.
That's right. Can't sled the sledder. Ava is going to go. She comes clean. They tell.
She's going to go to the judge.
She's going to go to the judge, Judge Reinhold, and testify against the Pinkertons, and hopefully that'll help save the day. And that, my friends, was
When Calls the Heart, Season 12, Episode 9, Buried Treasure. We did it.
We did do it. Let's take a quick break. We'll come back, and we'll break this episode down here on
Deck
the
the
Hallmark. Welcome back, everybody. We're talking about When Calls the Heart, Season 12, Episode 9. It's called Buried Treasure. We're going to share our hot takes about this episode. That is where we share our thoughts. We do not hold back, and I would advise you at home to not hold back either, and you're listening.
You're doing so well,
Jax,
man.
what'd you think? Buried Treasure, Ep 9.
Look, I thought this episode was fun when Elizabeth got to save the kids.
Yeah.
And instead of doing it in a way that I kind of thought she was, like she's going to come in there and be really rough and tumble and like show them that like she can kick butt too, she took a different approach, which was smarter. And I thought just very clever. I enjoyed that. Look, Ava's a lot of fun. I love magic. I love mentalism.
Gosh, I love magic.
I love a bit of magic.
Ugh.
Like I believe Rosemary says that, and I agree wholeheartedly. But let's be real. This is a bit of a nothing burger Ava reveal. It's not connected to anything really. Like I thought.
That's
and
at least a
just me.
3 or 4 patty.
It's
nothing
a
burger.
smash burger.
Yeah.
Look, it's not just me. Like I know in discussing this with fellow Hardys, When Calls the Heart fans, Sheila had some great takes on how Ava could have been connected. There were lots of really exciting theories being thrown around, and it seems like it was just sort of an independent thing that was connected to nothing else.
It's its own thing.
It's its own thing. And I thought that you could have done better When Calls the Heart with that. Although I will say I was sad to see her go, and I hope she does come back. All the bits with Hickam with the trunk. I mean, look, he's gosh darn adorable. So I had a good time, but
He's just there for goofs at this point, though, right? Just here for goofs.
He's just here for goofs, but he's having a great time. And again, all the money he's making, he could be doing wonderful regional theater, off Broadway, all the theater all over the country, and maybe doing Chekhov and Shakespeare and Oscar Wilde.
Oscar Wilde even, yeah.
Oscar Wilde even. He could be doing all that. He's a very talented actor, but I'll tell you what, he's making about 8 times as much money doing this. So hats off.
I saw a video recently of Denzel Washington giving advice to a youngster, and he says, the first stage of your career, you learn. The second stage of your career, you earn. And the third stage of your career, you return. Like he was talking about going back to being on the stage. Can you imagine?
Okay, Denzel.
Can you imagine
You
being
kidding me right now?
having that on just off? Someone was like, "What advice would you give me?" And he just was like, "So early on, I did all the stuff. I staged everything I learned. Then I went and earned. So I made money that were big, but like I did the money thing. And now I return to the craft. Now that I've learned and earned." This guy's too good for the world, right?
He really
There's
is.
no way he did that off the cuff.
I say that to. I
refuse
bet
to
he
believe
did. If you've ever seen an interview with
refuse
him,
to believe it.
he's like an ordained minister, dude.
It's too
Just can
clever.
give like a sermon on the. He's
incredible.
All that to say, in Jax's mind, Ben Rosenbaum is in his earn era, and he's going to go back to it. He's going to go back to the craft later.
I believe he will. And honestly, like, I can't wait to share the stage with him.
You said as you touched your hair on one side, I can't wait to share the stage with him.
Krako's not weird about it at all. I'm sure she doesn't think this is weird at all.
No.
And I thought the Angela storyline was really moving, getting to see her at this school. I enjoy that. I actually wish we would have spent more time on it. So yes, it just, it just, what happened with Ava? I just have questions. I just have questions why they did it like that. And yeah, Ben, in about 5 years, I'll see you in a basement. Not in a weird way.
See you in a basement. Sorry, Rick Pitino. Calm down.
That's a bathroom.
I meant like a black box theater.
I did look up that story, and it was a local. All it said was a local Louisville Italian restaurant, but I think it was Olive Garden.
Got to be Olive Garden.
100%.
It was Olive Garden.
Has to be.
Yeah.
For sure.
I mean, for the soup and salad alone, they'll keep
But
bringing it out.
Jack's Ben will see you in a basement.
In a basement. So what I talked about in my valley last week about how I felt like they just none of it was quite connected.
You were hoping for a Knives Out?
So yes, and I think what this episode did, and I've had some more time to think about it, is just kind of really nail that home for me, especially with the Ava part of it. Like Ava was a potential not to tie. She could have tied it all together.
She was a potential not to tot?
That's exactly yes.
She was a not to tot.
Not to tie.
Not to tie.
Yes.
There it is.
She could have brought it all. It could have all made sense, and they went with Mentalist and Pickpocket of Pinkerton.
Pickpocket of Pinkerton person.
And I just didn't know what was going on. It was very confusing, and so I don't know. I don't really know what to do about it because I'm more confused than ever about it and about how it's all going to connect and if it will. Because we got the Garrisons, the Pinkertons are back. I don't know. It's a mess out there. So yeah, that's my thoughts. I honestly, when Ava started to tell the truth about who she is, I honestly couldn't believe what I was hearing. I couldn't believe it. It was insane. The Mentalist,
the whole
sidekick,
thing.
fainting,
It doesn't
pickpocket
matter.
Pinkerton.
None of it. Yeah.
Maybe it was a lie.
Yeah.
Dan?
It's a mess out there should be the title of this episode, is what it should be. This episode sucks. I feel like in the last 6 years, and I'm sure anyone that's still in anybody that's listening somehow, God bless you, first of all. You're salt of the earth and wonderful people. But if you are listening, go and find this out if this is true. I'm pretty sure every year of the last 6 years, we have had some sort of shootout or kidnapping or apprehension of a character or something in these same woods once a season that has no direct tie to the main ongoing story of the season. And it happens in these woods once a year, every year for the last 6 years. There is nothing dramatic about going, is this the woods action scene episodes every year? There's nothing dramatic about it. You can make it dramatic maybe once or twice. It's the same woods, same basic premise. The Scuggins gang has got somebody in the woods. It's the same thing every year, and I have no tolerance for it. And Ava's big reveal was like they forgot. It was like they got to the episode and they're like, we never wrote how this matters. And so they Googled 1920s and they were like, what if she worked with a magician and then pickpocketed a Pinkerton? Like, less care couldn't have been given to this episode of television. I guess by the fact that Gowan has more than one scene and there is an action, it's less boring than last week's, but it's worse than last week's. I want to be very clear, and I'm thrilled that Jax was excited to see Ben Rosenbaum doing bits, and I'm thrilled that Jax is happy. But this season of television is as bad as When Calls the Heart gets. I put it up there with season 2 Hamilton. It feels like a baker's dozen. It is just, it's terrible. And I have nothing. There are now 10, 11, there's 3 episodes left now. I don't know what I'm waiting for aside from a Nathan proposal, which I know is happening. They've done everything to tell you it's happening. They're eating family dinner together. They realize who they are apart and who they are together. They've gotten over the hurdle of Jack also being a Mountie. Nathan's going to propose at the end of this. Aside from that, I don't know. I don't care that the play is done. The play's done. I don't know. I don't know. This
Well,
is.
someone's gonna get sick. Little Jack is gonna get sick, right? That's what we.
You would think so, maybe.
And I thought we
3
were.
years after the Spanish flu.
I thought that the sickness was gonna come out of the whole
Hot
thing
springs.
last week,
Nah.
were there were 3
Nah,
people
it
that were
was just a
sick, and they
funny
were all
goof.
better.
It was a funny
They were all
goof.
better
It's
this
funny
week,
goof
so
bit.
that was
Yeah.
confusing.
Well, if it's the diabetes, he's asking for a candy bar in this one.
That's a great point.
Maybe he eats a bunch of candy bars and then has a sugar spike.
I ate a pound of red licorice when I was a kid, and my whole skin, all of my skin turned red. True story.
Wait, are you serious?
Dead serious.
You ate a pound?
A pound of licorice. So my family didn't have a lot of money, and we went to the local grocery store. I believe it was a Food Line, and they had red licorice in a Ziploc. This makes me sound like I'm 100 and I was in Andy Griffith, but they had in a Ziploc bag red licorice. It was $1 for a pound, and so that was the thing my parents would buy. Occasionally, we'd get a little bit of candy. We didn't get much, didn't have a lot of money. And I remember sitting down at 9 years old-ish and just eating the entire bag of licorice. And then I had a baseball game right after that because, got to get your energy up. And in the car, I noticed that my skin was literally fully flushed red, and my stomach, everything. And I had to go to the doctor. It was just like he ate a pound of red licorice. So that happened to me.
I have a quick follow up.
Please.
Because I'm not good at measurements and things. How many a pound of red licorice should be how many licorice sticks?
My
or
guess
whatever?
would be around 30 or 40 red
Oh
licorice
my
sticks.
Good glory.
That's insane.
Yeah.
Now, did your parents know you're eating the pound?
They did.
or was that-
They cracked the case immediately. Obviously, they didn't know I was eating the whole bag, or they would have stopped me. But they.
How long were you red for?
The evening, and then I took some Benadryl or something, and I was fine. But true story. And then the other thing, I ate a full box of Swiss cake rolls at my grandma's house. And I've yet to have a Swiss cake roll since. My stomach turns just thinking about it. But I was at my grandma's house, and I had a whole box of Swiss cake rolls, which 2 to a pack.
Little
I think
Debbie's?
there's 6 or 8 in a pack, so 16 Swiss cake rolls. Just hey, let's go. I'm watching cable TV and eating the Swiss
So
cake
more
rolls.
than anybody else, you kind of understand where Brett Debbie's coming from.
I understand where Brett Debbie's coming from a little bit,
Well,
on a very small scale.
Well,
yeah.
Imagine that, but growing up in a house full of little,
Well,
made
made
of
of it.
Made
Do
of
the
it.
math on
Do
that.
the
That's
math.
crazy. But true story, skin allergy from the red licorice.
Wow. You'll still go to
Pound of
town
red
I
with some red
still
vines.
will occasionally have a red vine. I won't do a Twizzler,
No.
but only red
Won't
vines.
touch a
I'm a
Twizzler.
big
Well,
red vines
vines are
fan.
way better.
But I
Way
thank
better.
you, Jax, for understanding
absolutely.
real life.
It's a different candy.
It's a different
candy.
It doesn't
different
taste like
candy.
wax. It has a flavor to it, and that flavor is red. Thank you very much.
That's exactly right.
Yes, red vine's far superior. But even then, I think I'd 6 or 7 of them, and I'm probably good.
That's probably the day.
Just stay away from a pound of them. Yeah. I'm sorry. That was a sidetrack for no reason.
No,
except
that's
it
okay.
No,
had nothing to do with
as a sidetrack, and I asked follow up. So
Yeah, you did.
there we are.
it. Aaron's team Twizzlers. No, thank you.
Really?
Team Twizzler.
Ones are okay.
Yeah. My wife also team Twizzlers. She's wrong as well. She
Really?
just- yeah.
Oh, that surprises me.
Yeah. Yeah, I know. She's normally not wrong, but she's just wrong on this one.
Probably not wrong.
Where are we? Is it time for the feels?
I think so.
I think it's time for the
Okay,
feels.
It's time for the feels. Let's talk about feels. Jax, anything in this episode give you feels?
I do have feels. Here's the thing. It boggles my mind. Originally, I was absolutely team Lucas, I think, because I found Chris McNally so enchanting, and I still do. But wow, Lucas and Elizabeth are so just mismatched for each other, and you can see that now when you see Lucas with Edie and Elizabeth with Nathan. When Elizabeth does her little accent and she's talking about Diane, and she's like, oh, Diane DeMarco, and he's like, oh, she has an accent now, and she says she does. It's so playful and fun, and you can see the chemistry between them. That yes, they have a depth of love, but also they just have a lot of silly fun together, and I love it. And then of course Edie and Lucas, when they're like, yes, this is going to be the beginning of a successful working relationship. Get out of here with that. I'm loving it. I'm loving these 2 new pairings. I'm happy that they followed Dan's advice, 2 years ago now, and just switch things up.
Yeah, finally.
Yeah.
Took them long enough. I did just look. A tray of red vines is 5 ounces, so it would be like eating roughly 3.5 full serve. Going to the movies and getting 3 as a 9-year-old. 3.5 boxes of red vines and just
3.5 boxes.
yeah.
It's a lot. That's a lot.
It is a lot.
That's a lot.
Yeah.
My feels is that story that Dan told about the red vines. I thought that was very
Fair.
funny, and
Thank
it's
you,
going to
man.
stick
It
with
was
me for
funny.
a while. Dan,
That's I love red vines.
let's take a break. We'll come back. We'll get to the way what and the hopes and valleys here on
Deck the Hallmark.
Well, hello, everybody. Welcome back. We're talking about When Calls the Heart, Season 12, Episode 9, Buried Treasure. Let's get to our Wait What, just where we talk about what in this episode made us go, wait, what, Jax?
So I really love everything Minnie's going through in this episode where she's worried about Angela. Like, I think all that, it's very well done. It's very relatable. When they get to the school and she's ticked because the person is a minute late, and she's like, where is she? I'm like, you guys, like, also when you go for appointments places, you wait. That's just the way it is. But also, like, I think you have to be mindful that maybe they're on a little bit of a different schedule. Like, she's blind. This woman's blind. Like, I didn't understand why she was like so ticked off about it.
It was
I
a
know
weird
that-
move to be. I mean, when you're anxious, you think everything's going to go wrong. But to your point, Jax, and I didn't mean to interrupt you.
No.
That the idea that someone's a minute late and you get frustrated when you're at a new place and. I couldn't believe it, and I'm someone that really likes to be on time, and I'm someone that enjoys when other people are on time. But the idea that 1 minute caused that much of a reaction is just it's crazy.
It's crazy. And like, I thought
Yeah.
if they would have had them sitting there and like where are they? Like, that would have made sense. But they just walked in.
Especially in 1921, where we didn't have a uniform time. Like, your watch was
Right.
set by you. It's not like
Yes.
everybody can look at their phone and go, it is 100% 10:22 at the time of this, me speaking. No, everyone's clocks were different based upon how they set them originally or how they continued to wind them.
Yes.
So
Yes.
1 minute is nothing. They could still be
Nothing.
early according to them.
Yeah.
It's crazy.
And I get that she's stressed, but I was like, what's up with that?
Yeah, that's
Then the
tough.
other thing that I do want to say, I appreciate that Hallmark and One Calls the Heart. I think for this episode, they hired actors that are blind, which is great.
They did.
Like, I understand. Yeah, which I understand. With Angela, they didn't do that. I
Correct.
actually think she's a delight, but I think that it's a problematic thing that Hallmark has
Mm-hmm.
done before. But I think she's a delight. She's very good. The whole, and listen, I don't think this should bump for me, but it just did, and it just made me go, okay. The blind leading the blind joke. If it's written by someone who's blind, it's funny. Otherwise, it felt weird, and I guess I've heard. Yeah, I'm just saying it made me feel a little like I don't know how to feel. And I can see someone thinking that's funny if they are blind. It just seems like a weird joke to write if you aren't. I don't know. I had weird feelings about it that I'm still, to be honest, unpacking.
I'm with you. I had a lot of weird feels about that scene. And it's just like, I do, we talk about impact and intent and how impact is more important. And I think the intent is good for everyone
Yeah.
involved. I don't know if that's the impact necessarily for everyone. I'm confused as well. I'm with you.
No, I love how you said intent versus impact, because I think that's why it's kind of bumping for me. It's also not. Is like, I absolutely think the intent was that, and also like, we don't want to paint it as that like blind people can be funny and they're always serious and this is very serious thing. I think it was just like, I'm not sure what we're doing here, and because we know that Hallmark Channel has had a complicated history of dealing with things like that, I'm just a little bit more on guard than I would be otherwise.
Fair.
Guys, why are the Garrisons so bad at being bad guys?
Gosh, they're so terrible.
bad.
I
I
don't understand it. I don't understand this whole storyline, to be honest with you, and why it's happening. I don't know. Like, we have the cattle people, right? We have the cattle people in their situation. we have
Stop trying to explain it.
we now have been brought into the Pinkerton of it
Pinkerton
all.
pickpocket. That's right.
Pickpocket. And then I think that one of them is related to the gold situation, right? But the Garrisons are so bad at being bad guys. To Dan's point, this happens every season where the Garrisons are in some sort of gunfight with Bill
so
in the
stupid.
woods, in the whatever. The Garrisons are so bad at being bad guys. And the only people that are worse at doing their job is the people that are supposed to be holding the Garrisons captive or in jail or whatever. I don't know how this keeps happening. I don't know how the Garrisons continue to get to do this thing. But they're very bad at being bad guys. They're very bad at the treasure of it all, buried treasure. They're bad at that. The Garrisons are just bad. They're bad at bad guying, and they're bad at being. And so I'm bummed out by the
bad at bad guying.
I'm bummed out by the Garrisons.
I will say this: the Pinkertons were in charge of railroad security in the early 1900s. So there is a chance that the great train robbery of blah 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 that's made up by them has a connection to the Pinkerton storyline, but it's going to be thin. It's going to be barely. Like, oh, you're a Pinkerton? You happen to know about this? That's going to be the connection.
Yes, yes.
But that isn't, the Garrison gang is bad. They're bad at being, as you said.
I'm also kind of bummed out with the way in which, I'll save it for my Valley, actually. Dan, go ahead.
When Calls the Heart praising the usage of executive orders as a way to defeat tyrants is a move. It's a move, and I know when they wrote this, it probably wasn't the same political climate as we're in now, but it did air in March or April or February. When did it air? Late February, early March?
Early March.
Early March. To say that the person at the head of the state is using an executive order to defeat tyrants, I just don't know how you defend that ever, but I certainly don't know how you defend it right now. And it was a huge record scratch for me. It was a huge wait what that not that Gowan mentioned it. That's the truest Henry Gowan's been in years, to be like, you know what'll get him? Executive order. That's the Henry Gowan we've all come to know and love. But the fact that this is the method used to defeat the bad guy, I couldn't believe it. I couldn't believe that that's what we're doing, right? Like, this is what's going to happen. That's not like a threat. They're going to use that thing.
I think so.
So there's that, which was weird. Bill knows all the trees in the forest that have names carved in them. They said they're going to a tree with a name carved in the side. And he goes, I got it. It's up the North Road. How much time does Bill spend in the woods?
He has a tree diary.
He journals about all the trees. I call this one Little Red. He journals for all the trees and he maps them out. Like, somebody needs to do it. And good on you, Bill. Good on you for knowing all the trees.
I stumbled upon a white pine.
The thing they're not telling us is there's only 50 trees in the forest. We think it's this massive forest, and it's the same 15 square foot that they keep just riding around. After they get Allie and Ollie back home, Nathan and Ollie and Elizabeth and Allie are all walking in the town square or what have you. And Nathan says, high marks on your end of year evaluation, Ollie. Bro, you led Allie into the woods with some rando. I don't know what Mountie training is, but it ain't that. It ain't that. I don't know I don't know the fact that he grabbed the shovel and said run, I guess. But how bad is your intuition that you're like, this guy came up to us with a map and he thinks we know the area. We should walk in the woods with him. He seems above board. That is not high marks. I don't care what Nathan says. I'm telling you it's not high marks. And then go ahead.
Well, I was going to ask a question and get your guys' opinion on it. So Allie leaves behind a little ribbon, right?
Yes.
To lead them to where she is. And Elizabeth sees it.
Yeah.
And she goes that way.
Yes.
And then Nathan sees it and he then grabs the ribbon. And wouldn't you want to leave it there, like just
Yeah.
in case you get turned around? Like I don't know how
Or
tracking
Gallon is also looking. Or
I don't know how tracking works, but I don't understand why he grabbed it because it
Yeah.
seemed like it would be good. Like you don't want to like pick up the, the
I mean, it is
breadcrumbs.
his daughter. I think he's like.
Was
you
it
know,
like
you
he's
see
just
that a lot
mad?
of times? Like you're like, oh, this is a evidence of my missing child. I've seen that 1,000 times in movies. But you're right. It would make more sense to
Yeah.
keep it there.
I think it was like, trying to be dramatic of like he gets to snatch it.
Yeah.
Dan, to your point though, don't you think that Allie, and we've seen how she is,
Yeah, we have.
she's gonna go anyway by herself. So Oliver might as well go with her.
But as the Mountie in training, at the very least, he should be like, "Hey, this doesn't seem like a great idea."
And
We
I
don't
think
know.
that conversation happened off screen.
We don't know. Oh, that's very good. It's really good. You're basically their lawyer. Boom, 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 boom. Jax claims
think
that all
what
the
you-
evidence is off screen.
I think what you would see if you were there.
Yeah. If you knew what
Yeah,
happened,
if you would just listen
where the
you would
camera
know.
wasn't there.
Yeah. Not our fault.
Exactly.
Yeah. And then I will say, I know it was supposed to be a bit of Hickam covering for Minnie in the cafe when he also runs the Queen of Hearts, and that's all well and good. But you brought 2 regular people 8 whole chicken legs to eat for dinner. That's what you brought them, is 8 whole, not chicken wings, not little drumettes. You brought them 8 state fair sized chicken legs to eat. And as someone that's eaten an entire pound of licorice, that is too much food. It's too much food. It's too much food. It's 8 whole chicken legs. You didn't bring them anything else. No sides, no thighs, no accoutrement. You just brought them 8 whole chicken legs. And that can't possibly be a meal. That's all I've got.
Thanks, Dan. It's time for Hopes and Valleys, where we talk about what in this episode gave us hope for the future or is bumming us out. Jax?
I love those chicken legs. I couldn't stop laughing. I was like, what in the actual trash meal are we serving them? And then they like cheers with their legs. And I just thought it was so adorable. Okay, the hope is it just me or are we seeing a little bit more Gowan as we go
3
when
scenes.
you gave this advice?
3
Yes!
scenes this week.
It was like maybe 4 next week. Maybe by episode 12 he'll have a real arc. So I'm hopeful.
You're so hopeful. The what I didn't get to was he gets 3 scenes, and one of them is him explaining who the Garrison gang is.
Well, in case
In case
people are
anybody's watching for
confused.
the first time ever on this show.
In case they're just coming in now, we really got to get them
Yeah.
up to speed because if we don't, they're
That's
not
right.
going to be able to.
They're gonna
catch
be
it.
lost.
He's really doing us a service,
Yeah.
a PSA.
That's right.
And my Valley, I think I am kind of disappointed Ava's gone. Fiona's not here anymore. Are we ever getting Melissa Gilbert back? I'm kind of just like we're
Oh, Melissa
now I'm
Gilbert
starting
was
to
on
go
the
worse.
show.
Melissa Gilbert was on the show.
Oh my God.
It's like her and Josh Brolin, they're off together, just waiting until the next time. they
James as
can-
well. Yeah.
James, oh, I'm so sorry.
Dude, Josh.
Josh Brolin on the show would be a riot.
Josh
Pittman,
sucks.
James. Do we like Josh Brolin?
I don't know.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, he's a little
Well, he should-
cantankerous, but he's,
Yeah,
Aren't
but
we
we
all?
really should get James and
James
Melissa
for
back.
sure. Yeah.
We get James for sure. I think I actually my Valley was really being like maybe nothing is going to connect the way that I would want it to. Still having a good time, but I really hope that they start to put together the pieces a little bit better for me.
Yeah. So my Valley is, I talked about how, Frickum is just there for goofs at this point.
Yeah.
He's bringing Mesu down. And
Yes.
Agree.
it bums me out because Mesu, when she rode into town on her horse, she was this magnificent character, and she was fun and mysterious. And now she's just kind of going along for the goofs, and she's bringing out chicken legs, and that bums me out. I think that Frickum, if you want to goof, but don't bring her down. She was fantastic and deep and complex, and now she's just Frickum's sidekick, and that bums me out.
Yeah.
I don't like that.
Fair.
Dan?
I like that, Valley. I may take it. Right now I just don't know what I've said it before. I'll say it again. We're waiting on a Nathan proposal. They're going to crack the case of the great train robbery. And then Lucas is going to issue an executive order. I don't know what else I'm supposed to be anticipating at this point. An Ollie Alley kiss. Like, it's bad, gang. It's bad. Usually with 3 episodes left, you're like, oh my gosh, are they really going to go full? Are they really going to have Nathan and Elizabeth kiss or something of that ilk? We have nothing. We have nothing. Where's that?
Well, we did it.
I just do want to say before we close,
Sure.
I think Mei Su is lucky to be Frickham's.
Oh my God. Don't do this. You're betraying your entire gender right now.
Wow. Wow. That's deep.
Jax would
It's worth
kill.
it.
Jax would kill to be Hickham's sidekick.
I really would.
She would give up suffrage to be
Wow.
Hickham's sidekick. She doesn't need to vote. Hickham's sidekicks on the table?
That's the way things are today. You know what I mean? Of the political parties. Anyway, sorry. Anyway, Hickham's great. Love you, Mei Su.
That's right.
Go ahead, Bran. Sorry.
Well, we did it.
Oh,
Congrats
here we
to
go.
us.
We're just trying to do this. We did it thing.
Okay. We can listen back, but
Okay.
I promise you, we do the thing and then we go
right.
into the because that's the thing.
That's the thing.
Yes.
When calls the heart's a separate. What's called heart's a separate thing.
Yes.
Yeah.
It's time for the What's Calling My Heart. It is where we read an email. Dan does. We're better for it.
We are. You
that
can
I'm not
email us.
reading it.
Sometimes they're really sweet. Sometimes they're jokey, and I never know. Aaron forwards them to me. When you send it to hello@deckthehallmark.com, you're sending it to Aaron. I don't read them beforehand. That's why that makes them fun. So I got one this week. Please email us. Tell us what's calling your heart.
Yeah.
This is from Trina Lee. Trina Lee. That's probably different. Trina Lee. Dear Dano, Hallmark Daddy, and Jax. After slogging through the first 2 seasons of When Calls the Heart, I swore on a stack of signed, sealed, delivered DVDs that I would never watch this show again. And yet, in 2024, my unchecked Hallmark app watch list guilt tripped me into a full binge. The real twist? I actually had fun, thanks to your recaps. Oh, thank you, Trina Lee. The real twist, no, I already read that line. The secret sauce, the host combo, plus hearing directly from fellow listeners. A couple of wait whats that I don't think have ever been addressed. Number 1, why does Hope Valley Water Tower have a font straight out of a 1990s PowerPoint template? Really good stuff, Trina Lee. Number 2, how are Lee and Rosemary still living in a glorified miner's row house when Lee once owned a sawmill? Also, great point. Probably should have a mansion. What's calling my heart? The reminder that I have influence right where I'm planted, that I can choose joy even in a season of chaos and uncertainty. Thank you for creating this ridiculous and wonderful space of levity and joy. We did it. Signed, Trina. P.S. Shout out to Jen Hatmaker for introducing me to you fine gentlemen in 2020. Shout out, Jen.
Aw.
P.P.S. Bran, I too struggle with pronouncing words correctly. Let's form a support group.
Let's do it, Trina,
Trina
Lee.
Lee, thank you so much.
Trina
Very
Lee.
nice email.
Oh my gosh, that also felt inspiring.
Really good stuff all the
Yeah.
way around. Good stuff, Trina Lee.
Thank you, Trina Lee. You can send in your What's Calling My Heart, hello@deckthehallmark.com. We'd love to hear from you. Jax, it's been a lot of fun.
Can't wait for next week.
Yeah.
Episode 10.
Same.
Man, how about that?
Things
Could
are
have
good. No,
season
just-
could have been over.
I think baby
Could have
Jack
been
is
over.
getting sick. I think that I was talking to Sheila about this. Baby Jack was maybe supposed to get sick in 10, but the synopsis might have been messed up, so now he might be getting sick at 11. I don't know, but he's going to get sick, and we got to be there for him.
We got to be there.
We
for
gotta
Baby
be there
Jack.
for him.
We got to show
Yeah.
up. All right. Until next time, we're the first to wish you a
Merry Christmas.
Deck the Hallmark's a Bramble Jam podcast is produced by Aaron Shea. For more information on Deck the Hallmark, you can go to deckthehallmark.com. For more information on the Deck the Hallmark family, you can go to bramblejamplus.com. Deck the Hallmark is presented by Philo TV. For a free trial of Philo, go to philo.tv/DTH.